Let's try this again. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm going to go live now to share the traditions of Christmas craft along. We're going to use 2 stamp sets for this, mostly because the traditional labels, which is the primary set that we are going to use, is all sentiments. So we are also using Christmas greenery. Christmas greenery is a great stamp set for the greenery, and it has dies that actually cut out images from your designer paper. We're using the Traditions of Christmas designer paper. I don't have any designer paper here because I've done all of my prepping, but let me tell you what else you get in your craft along. You're going to get this beautiful red shiny ribbon. It's got little bits of gold in it, kind of a satiny ribbon, very pretty. And then of course these beautiful sequins. I love these sequins. Did I bring the sequins? I may not have brought the sequins, but that's okay. We're going to do fine without it. You're going to make 10 cards in this class, 5 cards, 2 of each, and I've done all the prepping for you. So let me flip down, and then we will flip up, and we will get going with this. Thank you for joining me. Up first, because I don't want you to see my messy craft room, I'm having a big sale this weekend. I'm very excited about my sale. I was worried that I wasn't going to see what I normally see on my Facebook Live because the thing looked a little bit different. I heard that it turns videos into reels. Well, I'm going to give you the YouTube link after I finish this. So don't be alarmed. You will get the full video. You'll get to see the whole thing. Even though Facebook, why would they decide that I need to be turned into a reel? I think you need to see the full me. But anyway, so the Christmas of Greenery, these are the dies that we use. They cut out some of the actual paper. We're going to cut out a bouquet for one of our cards, and that's this die. And then this one is going to cut out a full-size image. And I have to tell you, it's so pretty. What we do is cut it in half, and we're going to do it on the inside of our card. But let me show you the cards. I'm going to take off my hat now because it's warm. It's still September. After all, even though we're getting ready for Christmas, let me show you these beautiful cards. This is our first beautiful card, Sending Love and Joy. Isn't it so pretty? Very classic. Uses the red shiny ribbon. All of these are finished inside, believe it or not. I'm not always best about that, but I'm turning over a new leaf. Then we've got this card. I love this little piece, and I actually messed up. When I gave everybody their card, I didn't cut it down to this size. I gave you a full size, but that's okay. You can do the full size and just attach this to the side, so it's going to be fine. So that's our second, Merry Christmas. Then we have this one. I believe this is Judy's. I love this one. Look at this one. It has a belly band, and it's so classic. We're using Pool Party, and this is the full-size image that we're going to cut in half and use on 2 of the cards. So there we have that, and then we have our greeting, of course, on our belly band. More red shiny ribbon and the beautiful sequins. And then we have this one. This was Monica's card, and I really like this card. It's a bit different from what we normally do. We actually have the gold here, and it looks like the gold is on the full size of the card, but it really is not. It's just a 1.5 inch piece that you're going to glue right to the middle, and then you are going to pop up these sides, and then you tie your ribbon around the track, and you pop up your ribbon, attaching it to the ribbon itself, not to the gold, but it actually doesn't matter if you attach it to the gold, whatever you choose to do. And our last card, this is our last card. We have this beautiful card with the wreath embossing folder. You almost need a 6x6 piece of paper to get the full effect of it, but because it covers up the center, you don't realize that you're not getting the full effect of it. It's really, really pretty. So there's 3 different images from the designer paper you can cut out. One has a pool party bow, one has a red bow, one has an old olive bow. Let's get to the cards now, because we only have a little bit of time. I'm hoping you're enjoying crafting with me. I'll give you some measurements, but of course I do have some kits left. If you want to purchase a kit, you certainly can. I might have them available at the sale this weekend. I'm cleaning out my craft room, and you guys get to benefit from that. Okay, let's get to these cards. We're going to start with the old olive card. I've got my red shiny ribbon here. I'm probably going to use these gems that I just picked out, and then I'll just replace them with another pack of gems because I didn't bring the gems here with me. Okay, so let's show you what we're going to do. So we've got this old olive card. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And let me look at the card so I can tell you exactly what we're going to do with it. I didn't bring, let me grab my ruler. Sorry, I should have had the ruler. There's no way I'm going to remember all of these measurements, and I want to share them with you. But for any of you concerned about my ankle, it still hurts, it's still swollen. I still can't fit a shoe on, but I'm getting by, and I'm out of the boot actually. I can weight bear, so that's really good. Okay, so this one, in this card I did 4 1/4 by 11, but I actually made everybody else's card 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So because we're not tying ribbon around it, it does not matter. Let's get to this. We've got our secret C layer right here. And the secret C layer is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, and then we've got a piece of DSP that is going to fit on. This is actually one piece of DSP, but look at this. We actually, let me see how it fits. I cut it in half. There it is, I think. Yes, there it is. So I cut it in half. I cut the 1 3/4 off the bottom. So this layer, let me measure it right, 3.5 by 4 3/4. It leaves a 1/16 of an inch around the edge. No, it leaves an 1/8 of an inch. I cut off the bottom 1 1/4 inches, and it's going to have a seam, but we're not going to see that because we are going to do our gold foil banner over top of that. So let's glue this on. So if you're joining me now, you're joining me for the Traditions of Christmas Craft Along, and we're making 5 cards. Let's see how fast I can make them. So you can see that this is probably my favorite pattern. It's got the secret C. On the back, it has the plaid. And what I did was I cut off the bottom 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to glue that to the bottom here now, right there. And you're not going to see the seam because we're going to be covering that up with a gold foil forked banner. So let's do that. Ta-da. Okay, so now I've got my banner, and what I'm going to do is fork the ends of the banner. To do that, there's 2 ways. You can use the retired banner punch, or you can cut up just a little bit in the center and cut from one corner to that cut line, cut from the other corner to that cut line, and ta-da. Do that on the other side too, and they should be approximately even. I like to use my retired banner punch. I usually pull that out all the time. But now that I think about it, I forgot to pull it out for class this morning, so everybody must have forked their own banner without it. I've been cleaning out my craft room, so I haven't done a very good job of keeping track of what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is attach this gold banner right across the seam. I won't bring the glue all the way to the edges because I'm not attaching it to the card yet. I certainly could, but I'm not going to. Okay, so there we go. Ta-da. Now what I'm going to do is I have one of these labels. These are the labels that go along with all of those sentiments in the Christmas traditions or traditional labels. These are the dies that accompany the traditional label stamp set. And just about all of my stuff is stamped in real red. So we're going to stamp, and hopefully I can find it here. We're going to stamp Sending Love and Joy with real red ink. So let's get that out. Sending Love and Joy. And because it's a photopolymer set, I can see exactly where I'm going to stamp it. You could use it. Oh, look at all that red ink I put on there. I didn't do a very good job just tap, tap, tapping, did I? I'm going to just kind of go just like that, right in the center. And ta-da, there we go. Let me clean off my stamp since it's so full of red ink. And I don't want to get that on my card. So I got my chamois handy. Okay. And what I'm going to do next is attach a little bit of the red ribbon that we've included in your kit. So we're going to try and keep the shiny side up, which is a little bit, it's definitely a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to go, let's see, I'll go like that. And I'm going to use some dimensionals to hold it in place to start with. And I'm going to have to do some twisting and turning in order to make it work, but it's going to be fine. So let's do that. Let's go down here. And I'm just going to make a V right there. Oh, you know what? I do want to do it so that I'm going to see the shiny side, right? Isn't that what I said I was going to do? Let's see how this is going to work. I'm going to put that right here at the juncture of both of those ribbon V's. So that'll hold it in place. Hopefully this looks pretty when I'm done. We'll see. Let's use another dimensional over here. Don't I have beautiful hands? Sorry. If you're coming to me for the hands, I'm sorry. I know it's pathetic, but I don't have beautiful hands. I have working hands. Working hard hands. I went to a reunion this weekend with my nursing school friends. Everybody had their nails done, and I kind of hid my hands under the table. Sorry. It should be more important to me than it is. But they break at work when I'm doing my nursing, so I usually don't get into that. This is kind of what it's going to look like, and it doesn't matter. You can twist it and turn it. You can have the unshiny side showing if you want to, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to put that right there in the center, and that's popped up just like that. And we're going to attach that to our card. And that's going to go right in the center of our card front. So this is a secret C layer that's attaching to our old olive card base, just like that. And there we go. Now I forgot to, it's in your kit, but I forgot to include it, I think, because I was going to use my own designer paper. We've got another piece here. This is, I believe, is it 1/2 inch or is it 3/4 inch? It's 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch by 4 inches of DSP that's going to go along your bottom. You guys have it. I forgot it. So sorry. But we can put our basic white in here, and then I can always go back and add that later. So you can definitely stamp another sentiment inside if you want. I feel like these are always mostly front-facing sentiments in this stamp set, and I would probably use the sentiments from another stamp set for the next. So, boy, I'm not really straight, am I? There we go. Let's add some sequins now. Just open my package, and I've got my Take Your Pick tool here. I have said this before, and I will say it again. I like to use the putty side of my Take Your Pick tool for that. And what I chose to do was use the gold sequin to put in the center of the flower. You've got another one down there. Let me put that there in the center of that poinsettia. I always used to say poinsettia. How do you guys say it? Do you say it poinsettia or poinsettia? I have to, oh, and I'm going to put a little one, a medium-sized one over there in the white one. I remember when my son was in kindergarten at Tower Day here in town. It was the local preschool, but he also went there for kindergarten. And he had to practice saying, please buy our poinsettias. So now I say poinsettia because it actually is IAS. Okay, so that's the first card. All your stamping is doing that. You're going to attach those layers, do the ribbon. If you want, if you choose not to use the ribbon, you've got plenty of ribbon for other uses. You can use it for wrapping your gifts or whatever. I love this ribbon. Okay, that's card number 1. Beautiful, huh? Okay, let's move on now to card number 2. And card number 2, I think I've already showed you, is I'm going to have to do some cutting here with my paper trimmer. But we have here this fancy cut card. So it is a 5.5 inches high by 7.5 inches wide, because what I'm going to do is take my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut off 1 inch off the edge of my Mossy Meadow cardstock. So I haven't done that yet. So essentially what I'm going to do, let me show you. Essentially what I'm going to do is take 1 inch off. So if you want to score your 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock at 4 1/4, like I did already for you, and then just take off the inch. I took it off for you in your kit, but I wanted to show you how I made this cut and what was included in it. It's actually a very stylish cut. I really like using this kind of cut. But boy, oh boy, where did I put the green? Oh, I guess I'm not as prepared as I thought I was, but I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it, and we'll be fine. What I have here, because this is 3 1/4 inches wide, I have a 3 inches by 5 1/4 inch layer right here, and we're going to attach that right to our card front. And then the back of it is this green that we're going to attach. I realized that in the kit, I should have had basic white 3 inches by 5 1/4, but instead I gave you a 4 by 5 1/4, which is going to work just as fine. We're going to put this right here in the card itself. We can do that right now. Let's just do that right now. We're going to attach that, and then let me grab my DSP so we can just cut off 1 inch, and we're going to attach that right there on the edge. So let me grab my paper. I should have checked everything. My son would be so disappointed in me. He's always saying, "Now, Mom, do you have everything you need for your Facebook Live? Make sure it's all there." Well, I prepped everybody's cards at the same time, but I forgot that I was going to go back and get my DSP. So this is the front of it. That's the back of it. We're going to cut 1 inch. So it's going to be 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. And you've already got this in your kit, but if you are crafting along with me and keeping up, you're going to use the Christmas greenery and the traditional Christmas, traditional labels stamp set. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Let me get rid of the excess here for a second. We're just going to attach that right over there. And then that's what's going to show right there. So it doesn't make any difference whether you use a 3 by 5 1/4 inch piece, or if you use a 4 by 5 1/4 and then just attach it to the side. Especially since I was sleeping when I did this, apparently. Let me make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. Okay, what I have stamped in here, I've got to do 2 more things to this card. First of all, I've got to stamp my label with the Merry Christmas. And I have to tell you, I've already mounted my Merry Christmas on here. Where is my Merry Christmas? This is my Merry Christmas, but I have to show you, I mounted it and it's not coming off this block until January 1st. That's just the way it's going to go. Because I'm going to want to make sure that it's always in the perfect spot to stamp with and ready to go. I can see using this stamp quite a bit. Once again, we're using Real Red. The only other ink that we need for this particular card, and it's actually optional, we did a really good job of stamping or keeping to 1 ink color. I think the last time we did our craft along, we used quite a few inks, and that's not fair to you guys. So, okay, that's our Merry Christmas. I could have done that in the inside of the other stamped card, I guess, but let me close the red ink for a second. That's going to go to our card front, and this is kind of a funny looking, this is kind of a funny label. You can see that it has an edge here. If you choose, you could probably snip it off if it gets in your way. The other thing you could do is turn it over and make sure it's flush against the edge. and then use your dimensionals to kind of hold it in place. I don't know if that's going to work. I really don't want it to show, but I have to make sure that it's also going to hold it in place. So that's a little bit hard. I'm not crazy about the label because of that edge. It was also a little bit difficult, I have to say. Yeah, and after all that, I put that on the wrong side. You don't want to put the adhesive all the way on the right side of the label because that's going to overhang because we're going in the center of the card. Boy, I'm doing a great job, aren't I? But it's really a beautiful class, and I had rave reviews about it, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me put the dimensionals on here. And maybe another one over here. So I'm doing it kind of on 2/3 of the label, and then I am going to just center it on my card bottom. So I'm going to make sure that this does not overhang or keep me from opening this card, right? Okay. What do I need to do next? I cut these holly leaves, and this is where the optional old olive ink comes in. What we're going to do is just add a little bit. I've got my real red holly berries that I've already pre-cut, and they're already pre-cut for you in your kit as well. I'm going to take this blending brush, and I'm just going to add just a tad of color, not too much, just a little bit right on the points of my holly leaves, just like that. Not too much, just a little bit extra. If you don't want to rub it on and would rather tap it on, you can certainly do that too. And now what I'm going to do is tuck these holly leaves under my label. So I'm going to take a little dab of glue, just like this. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here, just like that. And we're going to do that to this point as well, to the bottom point. I don't know if there's a top or a bottom. It seems to me you can decide what is top and bottom for sure. You could pop it up if you wanted to. It's just kind of hard to pop it up unless you're using mini dimensionals because of this open space in the die cut. What I want to do next is just, actually I'm going to pull this up a little bit, just like that. We're going to add our holly berries. And what I'm going to do is just add dots of glue here. 3 dots of glue. I think that's the easiest way to add the holly berries. And once again, I think I'm going to use my putty side of my take your pick tool to glue it down. Another one here. I can hear my son playing his game upstairs. Obviously, he's not watching my Facebook Live to see that I didn't do a good job prepping. Okay, there we go. There's our holly berries. And then the only other thing we're going to do is just tie a quick knot with our shiny red ribbon. And if you can, try to keep it so that the shiny side is showing, just like that. Let me take my scissors, which have gone AWOL for a second. I found them. Just like that. Just like that. And we're going to take a glue dot, and we're just going to put that up here in the corner, just like that. So it's a real easy knot to tie. Got my glue dots right here. I bring my ribbon to my glue dots, not vice versa. Oh, there's some glue dots up higher that I should have used first. There we go. There we go, just like that. There is another thing that we're going to do. We are going to, let me get my glue dots out of the way for now. I don't know if I'll use them again. I can't remember. Some of these cards I made a few weeks ago. I'm going to add the rhinestones, but I also want to stamp a poinsettia inside of my card. So this is the poinsettia that I did. It's kind of a funny one. I don't know if it's meant to be popped up on something else. It's kind of a funny looking poinsettia. See, I wonder if you were supposed to do this one and it pops up on top of that one. Just a thought. I'm not positive. But anyway, we're going to stamp our poinsettia. And what I'm going to do is tap, tap, tap. Do that in the middle. And I like to, I think I've said this before, I run my finger underneath. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just to make sure I get a solid image when I'm stamping a solid image. I'm going to stamp some holly berries. I would love them in yellow, but you know what? Or not holly berries, poinsettia stamens. I'd love them in yellow, but they won't show up in yellow. So we're going to do it in Memento because we want them to show up. I tried doing it in yellow. You couldn't see it at all. So that's why we did that. So there is our card. Let's add our sequins. I love these sequins. For this one, I did the red ones. So I'm going to do a red one inside of my poinsettia up there. I could do another, maybe I'll do a medium red one in this one over here. And then what I did, I had fun with this. I did a small one in the eye of Christmas. So there we go. You could add more if you want. You've got a whole sheet of these. These are so beautiful. I love these. I'm so glad I bought extra packs of them because I feel like they're going to go on back order soon and they just make a perfect accent for a card. So that is card number 2. And it didn't take long at all. Of course, don't forget you're making 2 of them, so you have to add some extra time. Okay, let me put that out of the way and let's do card number 3. Card number 3 is this fancy fold card. It's a gatefold card with a belly band. Judy did this one. This one has a few extra pieces. So first we're going to have our pool party cardstock. 5.5 by 8.5, and we are going to score it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. Let me double check that. Yes, 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. So essentially 2 1/8 inches from each side. You're going to score that down the long side, and then you can fold that, and then we have our front panels. First of all, let me find my card pack because I don't have it ready to go yet. Okay, let me find my card pack. I just had it, so it'll show up in a second. Oh, off to the side here. Here we go. So we've got I've got a couple of things here to show you. So many things. And this is another reason why I was late. I forgot to prep my designer paper. Nope, that's not the one, because this one doesn't have the designer paper either. Where did I put it? Okay, hang on a second. Let me grab a card kit that has the designer paper in it, all ready to go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is what the designer paper looks like on one side. You've got your blue diagonal stripes, and it's this pretty, pretty paper. I cut it so that you could actually use both of them on your card, on your panel, and when it comes together, it looks like it is a connected card, right? So anyway, this real red is 2 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that makes this paper 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So that's what that is. So you need 2 of those. You need 2 of the real red because you're putting it on 2 panels. Let me do that now. So we've got our DSP already cut. And for you, I have cut the cardstock because I want you guys to totally enjoy this. You've got the remaining pieces of your cardstock in your kit. But I want you to have a great time putting together this kit. I don't want you to be frustrated with cutting or cutting the wrong way. So I hope you totally appreciate the customer service that I put into it. I did all your die cutting for your labels. So you have it all. Okay, I've just glued those. So remember, 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. The real red is 2 inches by 5 3/8. And we are going to attach these, let me put this out of the way for a second, to our card front, just like that. So let's attach them to our panel. If you wanted to pop it up, I suppose you could, but you're popping up a lot of the belly band, and you don't have much of an edge, just to let you know. You're only going to have about a 1/16 of an inch on all four sides of each of these panels, between the score line, top, bottom, and left, or score line, top, bottom, and right. There we go, and you can see that it actually is a continuous pattern. Next, I scored the belly band for you, but don't be fooled. I still want you to put this around your card because it is, you don't want it to be so snug that you can't get it off. So you might have to do a little bit of moving this so that you can actually, let's see, how am I gonna do this? I'm going to put this around my card now. Let me add the glue here, but I'm trying to do it so that it is going to be a little bit loose and I can actually manipulate it off, just like that. Let's just do it like that. So it does look like I made it a little bit bigger, because I did, because I want it to slide on and off. Otherwise, you're not going to see how beautiful our inside is, right? So the next thing that we have to do is our label for our card. So we have a Mossy Meadow, not Mossy Meadow, an Old Olive label that I've already die cut. Here's our Old Olive label. And then we also have our beautiful banner, and I love this beautiful banner. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, and then we need our DSP. Boy, oh boy, what happened to my other piece? I just love when a plan comes together, don't you? You know what happened? I have two of these card sets, and I think I put the wrong one for my Facebook Live here, and this was going to be extra pieces. So the next thing I'm going to do is attach my DSP right there on my belly band. It's this paper. It has the red polka dots. The red polka dots are actually going to face up. Now this is did I tell you about the belly band? The belly band. It's 11 inches by 1 1/4 inches. And this little piece of DSP right there is 4 inches by 1 1/8 inch. And that's all ready to go. And the next thing I'm going to do is start attaching my label here. And I'm going to pop it up. So I've got my dimensionals. Just keep the dimensionals kind of in the center of your label, because you want to be able to slide the belly band off the card, don't forget. So you're going to make sure that it's kind of towards the center of the label so that it is going to attach to your belly band. I'm saying that because I know that we might get carried away. There we go. Perfect. That's just what we wanted it to do. We're going to stamp Season's Greetings. Now, I cannot tell for sure, but I think that there is a right side up for this. Where's my Season's Greetings? Right here. There is a right side up so that this stamps just right. I could be wrong, but it seems to me, yeah, maybe I'm wrong, because now I can see that it kind of fits both. This one, this way, I feel like it needs to be manipulated a little bit more, and this way it just kind of fits. So make sure that you play with your label and put your stamp over top of it so you can figure out what is right side up, what is wrong side up. Okay. Got my Real Red ink here again. And let's stamp Season's Greetings in Real Red on our banner. Just like this. Hold it there for a second, let the ink absorb, pull it off, and voila, you've got this perfectly stamped image. Just found my other Real Red ink pad. I'm going to blame all of this getting, just being not as well prepared as I'd like to be on both cleaning up my craft room as well as my hurt ankle. So, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm a little scattered. This is what else we're going to do. And you can choose whatever poinsettia you want to. I chose a smaller one. This one was a little bit larger. You're going to fussy cut this. I don't think that there's a die for this in the Christmas greenery. You're going to fussy cut this. It doesn't take much to fussy cut, and in fact, it can be rather relaxing. Don't worry about being perfect, and if you move your paper rather than your scissors, you tend to do a little bit better. Okay, so got that. I've already, for the inside, done some die cutting. There we go. So what I'm going to do is attach my banner in a second, and I'm going to attach my fussy cut poinsettia. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make a faux bow. Faux as in F-A-U-X, like what I'm going to do, you could just do it, just layer the, like I did, or you could tie the bow. This one, I think I just kind of laid it and looped it. This one I actually tied. So you can do a faux bow or a real bow, but you're going to put it underneath like this. You're going to put it underneath your banner. What I want to do, what I like to do is, if I have it here, well, I don't see that I have tear and tape here. I do have here, though, washi tape, which is also acid-free. You can use washi tape. You can use your tear and tape. Do something to just kind of lay your bow at an angle there across. We're going to go just like that, and that'll keep it in place. And then you don't have to worry about it slipping and sliding away when you're attaching your banner. Okay, so we're going to do it like this. Just like that. I'm going to pop that up. Okay, so let me put my dimensionals. This one, again, I don't know if it's supposed to have maybe ribbon that could go through it. I don't know exactly why it is separated like that, but I do know that I don't really want to do too many dimensionals in the center because I've already got the depth of the knot there. So I'm going to just keep it like that and hopefully bypass that. Let's do it right side up. Let's take off our covers of our dimensionals, just like that. And we'll go just like that. Ta-da! Isn't that so pretty? So you can do either way. You could do, like I said, I just looped it. This one I actually tied it. I'm going to pop up this poinsettia also with a dimensional and tuck it under. Actually, I'm going to tuck it on top, just like that. And here we go. So now the only thing left to do, there's two things. We're going to decorate the inside, and we are going to try to move everything out of the way because I've got such a mess going here. And this is how I craft. I'd love to meet a neat crafter. There's probably one out there. It's not me. Okay, I just put away my take your pick tool that I'm going to now take back out and use to attach some sequins. This one, I think I'm going to do the blue because we're going to pull out the pool party that is inside our card base. So let's see. We can put one up there. We can put a smaller one maybe down here like that. Where else could I put one? I think I'm going to put another large one down here, just like that. And you could put it wherever you want. 3s are what they recommend, and see, this is nice and loose now, so I can open up my card. Let's finish, before I get too carried away, let's finish the inside. And I wanted to show you what we're going to do is 2 things. We're going to stamp "'Tis the Season" along the bottom. You'll see that, "'Tis the Season." And then we have our die cut, and this is taken from this DSP, the one that has the navy. I actually fussy cut around it so that I could die cut it. So this is a die cut, and what we're going to do, and this is so fun and so easy, and you're going to use it for both of your cards, just cut right across the middle, just like that. And we are going to glue in 1/2 right there and the card insert. Now, this is another thing that I wanted to tell you. Yes, we're using the full piece, but you also have all of these side pieces, and this is a good thing to use. You could also use these side pieces to decorate the insides of your cards. Don't throw away those extras because you think that you don't have a full picture, so it's not going to be worth it. I mean, there's lots that you can get here, and this die from the Christmas greenery, and this is what the die looks like. This one is large, and it'll cut out all parts of that. So I just wanted to show you that, and I wanted to make you aware of that. So that's a handy way to decorate your cards. Okay, let's glue this inside, and then I'm going to stamp my "'Tis the Season." And like I said, I'll put that high enough so that I have room for my "'Tis the Season." I'm going to save this for my other card, or you could even, let's see, do I have an envelope here? I do. You could also do it for your envelope front. If you have all kinds of pieces, do it right there on your envelope front, or do it on the flap. You could even do it like that on the flap on the back. So pretty. So many good ideas, right? Okay, let's stamp our "'Tis the Season." So this is a long stamp. So I have my long block, and I'm going to stamp it in real red ink again, right along the bottom. See if I can do this without getting it too tap, 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 tap. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be okay where I stamp it. There we go, because it's photopolymer and I can see that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is glue this inside my card base, right in the center. I suppose if you wanted to, you could easily also decorate the inside panels. You've got lots of DSP. I love this traditional Christmas DSP specialty paper. I hope you do too. So pretty. Okay, let me clean this and move this out of the way. Okay, glue out of the way. So this is my new card where I actually tied the bow. I can see which one is which. This one is actually tied, and this one I just kind of laid it there. So you can lay the loops and you don't even have to tie a bow. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, that's card 3 already. Moving right along. This next card is a different card than I have ever seen or made, but it's really not that hard to do. We're going to do a Secret C card base. It looks more complicated than it is. Let me find my card pieces right here. Okay, and pray that I have my DSP in here. I do. Whew. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Don't you love my Christmas grid paper? Do you remember this from years ago? I found a couple of pieces of it, so it's good for my Christmas classes. You need a banner. You need one of the pine leaves. So this pine leaf is also in the Christmas greenery. I did it for you. And what you're going to do is actually cut it in half. And you're going to do some out the bottom and some out the top. Kind of stretch your label, okay? But let's start with the card front. So I've got my Secret C card base, 5.5 by 8.5, right? And this is scored at 4 1/4. You know, it's almost impossible to score perfectly in half, which is why I can see that there's a little edge. So you flip it. Nobody sees it then. Okay, what I'm going to start by doing is gluing this 5 3/8 by 1.5 inch piece of gold foil. My gold foil specialty paper. I'm going to glue this right in the center. Okay, so right there in the center. Give it your best guess. You've got a little bit of an overlap, so you're going to be fine. Next, I've got my DSP. So I've got my 2 Secret C panels, and they are 1.5 inches also by 5 3/8 inch. So the same size as my gold foil. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to attach my 1 1/8 inch, nope, 1 1/4 inches by 5 1/8 inches. We'll see how this works. It seems like it's a little bit, yeah, I guess it's not bad. Okay, you see, there we go. I thought it was supposed to be, but that looks pretty even. So 1 1/4 inches. Oh, 1 1/4 inches by 5 1/8. So I'm going to attach that DSP to both of my panels, and then it's going to be like they're floating. So what I'm going to do is attach that just like here. If you use your glue, you've got some time to maneuver it and get it in the perfect position. And I'm going to do that with both of them. Okay, just like that. Now, the next thing I recommend is that you do, we're going to pop these up with dimensionals, but rather than putting the dimensionals on this panel, I have found it easier to put the dimensionals on my card base, because then I can perfectly lay down my panels. So let's do that like that. I'm going to do a couple. I'll do one over here in the center. I'm going to do another one over here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the top. So we're going to do 5 bottom and we're going to do 5 top. Let's see how this is going to work. What I could have done is staggered it a little bit more. Do it like that. And you're going to see how easy it is to attach these panels and get them perfectly lined up, because I had trouble lining it up with the edge once the dimensionals were on. I kept having to lift it up and move it, lift it up and move it. So that's just my hint to you. Okay, now I'm going to stand up and I'm going to line this up with my gold foil. I'm going to leave, and the edge of the paper, I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to do this one on the top, line it up with the top of the card base, just like that. And then I've got this beautiful track that I'm going to use to tie my ribbon. So I'm going to get my red ribbon. If I'd started on time, we'd probably not hear my Christmas music, right? I'm going to tie my bow. I like to tie my bow and keep my ribbon attached when I'm tying it. And see, I can flip it. I'm doing it so that I'm keeping that red shiny showing at all times if I possibly can. You might have to do a little finagling to get it to work, but I feel like you can. Okay, now I can trim my tails just like that. And what I'm going to do, see, I did that around the inside too. Do whatever you want. If you would rather, the other thing I suppose you could do is meet your tails in the center, and then you attach them to the underside of the Secret C, and then just attach a bow with a glue dot here. So whatever you want to do. I'm going to move that ribbon a little bit to the right so that I've got room for my label. I'm going to next stamp Merry Wishes. And I have to tell you, Merry is still on my Merry Christmas. Remember I said I'm not I want to say de-accessing, because that's what I do with the port needles at work, but it's not de-accessing. I'm not going to deconstruct this stamp that I put on. Merry and Christmas are two separate stamps, but I'm going to do them separately. I'm going to keep it, the Merry Christmas on the stamp, because I really like how that lined up. Okay, so let's do that. And you know what I want to do? I'm going to take a Post-it to cover my bottom, just in case. And you know what I can do? I can go like that. Isn't that cute? I can put, maybe that's what that's for, so that I can put that through and not have, I'm going to just ink up the Merry here. But if a little bit gets from Christmas, it's going to go on my, there we go. There's Merry. It's going to go on my Post-it note rather than, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to stamp it. Let's put that through there. Oh, that doesn't work as well, but it's okay. Doesn't matter, because my Wishes is on a separate stamp. So let me find my Wishes stamp. Wishes is right here. So there I've got my Merry Wishes. So that one goes on the underside of this banner. Beautiful. If anybody was to look very, 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 very closely, they could see I got a little bit of real red on here, but that's okay because it's a handmade card, right? Oh, I've got one more thing that I have to stamp. I have to stamp the inside. For the inside, we again use the Christmas greenery. You can do whatever stamp you want if you don't want to have the Christmas greenery stamp set. But this is that large image. It's the same one that we die cut from the paper. It also will cut out this large image. What I'm going to do is ink up a good part of the top, and I'm going to stamp it. Oh, it's okay. Okay, I'm going to stamp it down here. Just like that. Ta-da. And there we go. You could stamp it all the way across the bottom if you want, whatever you want to do. Okay, let's attach this to the inside of our card. Oh, and I forgot, actually, it goes to the side. So now, that wasn't well planned. Maybe I'll do it like that. Make sure you're doing it on the long side when you're stamping. I stamped on the short side because a lot of my cards are portrait rather than landscape. So if you're going to do that, maybe I'll just do it like that. We'll do it like that. I should have gone the long way. But it's okay because it's a handmade card, right? I'm pretty sure the fact that I actually stamped inside makes it beautiful. Okay. So I've got my Merry Wishes, and I've got my 2 pieces of the pine, and we're going to attach them. I think I'm going to attach it like this. I'm going to attach it. You could attach it on the underside if you wanted to, or I'm going to attach it on the top of this one. So let's do that, and I think I'm going to glue rather than pop up with dimensionals. So I got I'm adding my glue there, and I'm going to stamp that right, or not stamp that, attach that, adhere it right there at the top. We're going to do the same for the bottom down there. Let's do that. Just like that. Now it looks like one big continuous piece of greenery, and only you and I know the difference, right? We're going to pop up our Merry Wishes. So let's pop that up with some dimensionals. Oh, I see. I had some trouble with one of mine. If you have these labels, I did have to put mine together with tape because it ripped coming out of there, which is fine. I mean, it still works, but that's why I couldn't separate it when I did my Merry Wishes. Okay, there we go, like that. Now, the other thing I'm going to do before I finish this is add some red sequins, or I could do green berries. I'm going to do the red sequins as red berries though. So I'm going to have to use green on my last card, I think, because I haven't used any green yet. So let's do this. We're going to do a big one right there. We'll do a medium right there. Am I in the camera? Probably not. Let's do another medium right there. Ta-da. And then we're going to do that the same up top. A big one. We'll do a medium like that. So it looks like holly berries. And since I have a small one here, let's do our small one here like that. Just like that. Okay. So there we go with that. And what I'm going to do next is attach this, probably again actually, with dimensionals to my ribbon. I'm not going to attach it, I don't know why, but I don't need to attach it to my gold. I'm just going to attach it to my ribbon. If you choose to attach it to your gold, that's not doing anything wrong. It's your choice, it's your card. Okay? So whatever you want to do. There we go. But I have it almost like it's loose and like it could ride on the track. It can't, because actually it could, because my ribbon can slide this way. My ribbon can slide that way. So whatever you want to do. Ta-da! And there you go. You could add more sequins if you want, but this is just plenty for me. Okay, so we've got our card inside, we've got our outside, and we just completed card number 4. Like I said, you're making 2 of them though, so it might be hard to keep up. Card number 5 is an easy one, the easiest one actually, especially because I did a lot of the prep work for you. You are a card base 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You're going to need a basic white insert 4 by 5 1/4 and a basic white 4 by 5 1/4 inch that you're going to emboss with the basic white. And see how we have the embossed wreath? Doesn't matter where it's embossed, if it's off center or whatever, because it's going to be underneath our popped up panel, our center layer. So I've got a piece of old olive, and this old olive is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and the layer underneath is 2 1/2 by 4. Okay, we're going to attach that here, and you can attach it because you're not going to do any stamping on this. Where is my card? My last card. Oh, we're not going to do any stamping because we are going to do a separate layer. Okay, so this is the card, and I have to show you, in case you attach the embossed layer first, I'm going to show you what I did with one of our girls today who accidentally did that first. What you can do instead, what we're going to do, we're going to use this on the inside. Oh, this isn't wide enough. It was supposed to be 3/4 of an inch. But anyway, what you could do is attach this on your card front underneath the layer if you already attach your embossed layer. So whatever you want to do, if you want to do ribbon, and what you could do for the ribbon, let's just one step at a time. Okay, I'm going to attach my basic white 2 1/2 by 4 inches to my old olive layer, just like this. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take my embossed layer here. I have my embossed layer, and what I want to do is I'm going to meet it in the middle if I want to. You can meet it in the back if you want and attach it, but you can also meet it in the middle, just like this. I learned this from Celine about a week ago, and I really love this method of attaching because it's always a clean layer. If it ever came undone, that you would see the back of this, you wouldn't notice that I have this attached. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this like this, and I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm going to do a dimensional there, and I'll do one at the bottom. And I'm going to pull that snug and do this perfectly lined up on the other side, just like that. Just like that. Okay, so let me attach that with dimensionals as well. I'm going to make sure that it's going to not show under my green old olive layer, right? So I'm going to kind of keep it near the center. I could probably do one in the center here too, and I don't even have to pull off that because, and what I'll do is just attach this like this. But like I said, if I forgot that, I could always have put this underneath my old olive layer and nobody would be the wiser because this kind of matches the front of the card with the gold and the red. Okay, now what I'm going to do is attach this to the card front. Like I said, this is the easy one. There's only one thing you're going to have to do it with your Christmas greenery dies. You are going to have to die cut your layer, your DSP. And like I said, there's a pool party, there's an old olive, and there's a real red ribbon, and you can choose whichever ones you want. I chose a couple. I used my own designer paper for you. I'm going to pop this up as well. So let's pop this up with some dimensionals on my layer. So this is the layer that has the dotted stripe. If you are trying to figure out which DSP, because they all kind of look very similar. They all kind of have the red poinsettias, the pink, the gold, the specialty, so whatever. Okay, this one has the dotted, and that's the one that you'll see exactly which one to cut it. Okay, I'm going to put that just right there, like that. Love that. And then I have my 3 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch piece of basic white that I'm going to stamp again, 'Tis the Season. So let me find my 'Tis the Season stamp, which is right here, and my real red ink. Like I said, we did a really good job of keeping it to the real red, so that you're not hunting for all kinds of different ink pads. Hopefully I did that. Okay, I'm going to stamp that right in the center of my 3 1/4 by 1/2 inch piece of basic white. And you guys should have lots of these pieces left. If you cut layers 4 by 5 1/4, that leaves you a 1/2 inch strip all the time of basic white. Save those strips and you've got perfect sentiment layers. Okay, let me close up my real red, and we're going to pop this up over top of the bottom here. But what I'm going to do is just add dimensionals to the outside edges, because this is already popped up right there. If I pop it up again, then it gives like a 3 layers of dimensionals, and that definitely is going to cost you more to mail. We're just going to do it on the edge, and the middle is just going to lay right over the already popped up layer. I'm going to do it like this, just like this, or I could do it up higher. I'm going to do it up higher this time. Let me do it up higher, just like that. So this one I did a little bit lower. You can choose where to put it. This one I put a little bit higher. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, and then what we're going to do is take our basic white layer, and this was supposed to be 3/4 inch. I think everybody should hopefully have the right size in their pack. They don't, so you can do the real red, and like I said, that should pull out the red and gold accents, or you can do the green, which pulls out and matches the old olive. Let's do the old olive here. Actually, I think on my other card, I did the old olive, so we're going to do the real red this time. Let's do the real red. And I'm just going to attach that, and like I said, it's supposed to be 3/4 inch, and this is only 1/2 inch, but we're just going to attach that to our bottom, just like that. Just like that. Okay, there we go. And you can stamp your Merry Christmas. I've got my Merry Christmas right here. Let's stamp our Merry Christmas, just like this, right inside. I'm going to show you all the cards once more as soon as I finish. Beautiful. It stamps beautifully. So anybody that's worried about photopolymer, I do know that sometimes it doesn't stamp as well as the red rubber, and the red rubber is going away, but don't worry, it'll be fine. I think that this needs some gems because I haven't used any old olive yet. So let's see if there's a place. I'm going to just attach this inside. See, I don't use much glue, and still it's plenty of glue when I have to try and get it unattached because I did something crooked or stamped the wrong thing, or stamped upside down, or who knows what I did. Do we want to do some gems that are, where are our gems? Well, since, oh, here they are. So beautiful sequins. You can use whatever ones you want. Do you want to do some old olive? I'm going to do some old olive this time, just for something different. And yes, I'm using my fingers because these are big enough that I can. Let's do one more big one down in the corner here. And isn't that so pretty? So don't forget your gems. I didn't put any on here, but don't forget those beautiful, beautiful sequins, and buy more before they sell out, because I've got more on my order because these are beautiful. So you've got your cards. Let's see. Let me show you all the cards real quick. We've got this one. We've got our Secret Sea one. Isn't that pretty with the red? We've got our pool party card, and we used our pool party sequins. You can see that once I tied the bow, this one I just kind of laid the ribbon so that it would layer right, just like that. Here's my Mossy Meadow card. I just had off of the 5.5 by 8.5, just removed 1 inch there. That's all I did, and I made sure that there's no adhesive here so that I couldn't open my card. Added a little bit of old olive to the tips of my leaves, and that is totally, obviously, totally optional. And then we've got our Sending Love and Joy card. We added some gold sequins. So these are the 10 cards that you make in your kit, and they're so much fun. I wish that everybody had bought this. I feel bad for everybody that did not, because I just love this kit. I will have a couple more kits. You can place your order as long as you place it by the end of the week. Send me a private message and say that you want the kit. The kit is $50, includes half the DSP. It includes the roll of ribbon, it includes the sequins and the 10 cards and a little treat and all sorts of things. Have a wonderful day. I'm just going to flip back and say goodbye. Thank you. And I hope you guys have an excellent evening. Wish me luck on this card room for everybody coming to my sale this weekend. Hopefully you see lots of stuff. I'll see you soon. Have a great week.